What is up, YouTube? Today we're taking a look at the OnePlus 9 Pro versus the S21 Ultra. You guys requested this video the second you saw that I had the OnePlus 9 Pro in my possession, so I'm here to deliver. Let's get straight into it. The first place we're gonna start off is design, the obvious. Now, when it comes to physical features and build out, Samsung is always in that premium arena. Look at this bad boy. This S21 Ultra is built beautifully with this matte back end. I kind of got some swirls on the back of this. Hold on, let me clean this. Ooh, look at that. Shine that bad boy up. Boom. Especially when the light hits it in the right angle, you just get to see how beautifully matte black, phantom black this S21 Ultra is. Camera on camera on camera. And of course, paired with that beautiful AMOLED Samsung display, which is always king. But then we come to the OnePlus 9 Pro. This also has a premium build to it. Has this glass backing with this nice gradient background fade from like silver to like a dark gray. Nice camera housing, not as many camera features or camera build outs in the design department as the S21 Ultra, but still good camera build. And also the OnePlus 9 Pro has a phenomenal OLED display. So when it comes to the display between these two, if we want to get all technical in the DCI P3 gamut as well as the Delta E ratings, technically the OnePlus 9 Pro is a more accurate color-wise display. But from a day-to-day user experience, these two displays are both equally great and phenomenal. And you already know the king of displays has always been Samsung, but I can't take away from what the OnePlus is bringing to the market, because technically this thing is more accurate than S21 Ultra. But from a daily user experience standpoint, whether you go OnePlus 9 Pro or S21 Ultra, display-wise, you can't lose, period. They're both mwah. But one thing that we can add is that the S21 Ultra display is technically brighter at 821 nits versus the OnePlus 9 Pro's 722 nits. So if you're into all those little nits and specs, at the end of the day, either one of these devices you can see out in broad daylight just fine. All right, let's get straight into it. Let's get to the whole kit and caboodle, the camera. Let's talk about the cameras between the two. And what I'm gonna do is a live demo right here on the spot. But before we get into that, one thing I want to say this. On a technical aspect, the color reproductions on the OnePlus are a little bit more accurate than the S21 Ultra, but the sharpness and just downright hardware built into the S21 Ultra is unmatched. Like the amount of megapixels, the amount of cameras, it's just the amount of features camera-wise that the S21 Ultra is going to give you as opposed to the OnePlus 9 Pro. But with that being said, all that matters is the results. So let's get into the results between the two. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is let's do a front-facing selfie shot on both cameras. All right, as you can see, they both are set up to take a selfie. We'll lean right here, try to get them both to be the similar shot. Boom, we got the selfie. Now I'm gonna do video from the front-facing camera on both. What up, player? Right now you looking at the OnePlus 9 Pro or the S21 Ultra front-facing video in the studio, head-to-head shootout. Which one is looking better? Let me know down in the comment section below. All right, now we need to test the best camera, which is the rear camera. I'm just gonna use the typical standard default camera. Now these are always harder because you can't really see yourself. I'm just gonna hold it out straight. Look weird. Snap a photo. Oh man. All right, now it's time to do video. Is this okay? They're both recording. All right, so right here on the spot, you guys can see the OnePlus 9 Pro's rear-facing wide-angle camera in action versus the S21 Ultra's rear-facing wide-angle camera in action. We're right here in the studio getting a side-by-side shot. I want you guys to let me know which one you think is better. OnePlus 9 Pro, S21 Ultra. So at the end of the day, camera is always down to preference. How do you feel? What do you want out of your camera? What do you prefer? What looks good to your eye? So it's really hard to say which is better than the other. Now, you know, in low light performance, I will say this, the S21 Ultra will shine. It has a bigger sensor. It has a lot more going on in that hardware factor in its favor. So as I said, color reproduction tends to be a bit more favorable on the OnePlus 9 Pro, but all in all, sharpness, low light performance, camera selection and options are more plentiful on the S21 Ultra. So, you know, look at the results and make a choice for yourself. These both have in-glass fingerprint sensors, and to be honest, I mean, they're both good from a user experience standpoint. As you can see, I got both to hit accurately on the first try. So from day-to-day usage, you'll be fine with either one fingerprint sensor wise. The next category that we're gonna talk about between these two is going to be battery. You have 5,000 milliamp hour batteries on the S21 Ultra versus 4,500 milliamp hours on the OnePlus 9 Pro. Now, one thing I have to say in between these two right off the bat is warp charging. Warp charging is absolutely phenomenal. It's extremely fast. Topping up your OnePlus 9 Pro is bar none undefeated. Although the S21 Ultra on paper has a larger battery at 5,000 milliamp hours, which we're gonna talk about the experience and longevity between the two, the warp charging and the ability to charge this 4,500 milliamp hour extremely faster is an extreme plus, because even if you didn't get the same battery, or if the battery wasn't as good or as big as the S21 Ultra, when it comes to charging, you're gonna be able to charge it up way faster than you would the S21 Ultra after a drain. So here's where it lands. Honestly, between the two, and as I say always, let me just put this out there, battery life is always subjective to the user. You use different apps, I use different apps. Different apps drain the battery differently. Also, you use your phone different than me, as well as I use my phone different than you. But you also gotta keep in mind, there's different screen resolutions and hertz and so many different factors that play in battery life. I max out my S21 Ultra at Quad HD 120 hertz. I'm not slacking. I like my displays to give me the full resolution option that's available. You know what, on the OnePlus, let me see something. I don't know what I'm running on the OnePlus as far as display. I know I got dark mode on. That's another thing that helps save battery. Oh, this is where you choose the resolution. Right now I'm at full HD plus. Hold on, let's switch to Quad HD plus. What a shame. I was using it in full HD plus, didn't even realize. And that's the same way that the S21 Ultra ships, is full HD plus. And they do that to help the battery go longer. But I like to use Quad HD, which is a battery drain, but it's what we pay for in these displays. So I wanna get all of that resolution. So just to show you, you guys can see I'm on Quad HD plus with the S21 Ultra. So as I was saying before my battery died on my camera while talking about battery on phones is, you know, it always comes down to how you use your device. If you go with full HD and you use your device, you're gonna get longer battery life out of it. I choose Quad HD, so I'm getting the less option of it. So basically, between these two smartphones, when it comes to battery, at the end of the day, I've found between the two that the battery life is similar, although the difference of the 500 milliamp hours. All right, the next point of discussion is gonna be operating system. Now, this is big for me, especially when it comes to the Android platform, because I've always been a pure Android enthusiast, which basically translate in today's conversation as the Pixel launcher. You know, I used to use the Nexus devices back in the day, so that pure Android experience has always been my favorite because it's so clean. Samsung has come a long way in building their UIs and unpacking it and kind of stripping it down to come to this new result of One UI, which is getting closer to resembling that more pure Android experience, which when I come to talk about Oxygen OS, if you guys seen my first video about the OnePlus 9 Pro, I took favor to the Oxygen OS because it's very reminiscent of that super clean, super stripped back. I mean, Oxygen OS is just so clean, so smooth. It pretty much feels like a Pixel, and it's as snappy and simple and dialed back as ever. But One UI, as robust as it is, as feature-packed as it is, it just gives you so much to too much. I mean, it's either way. It's at the point where you love all of the features and the different things that you can get out of Samsung. Samsung gives you everything, the whole kit and caboodle when it comes to the OS experience. And for those who love having a scroll of features, that is there for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. And for those who might like a more dialed back, clean, chill experience, that comes into play on Oxygen OS. So it's really coming down to preference when it gets to OS. Another thing to keep in mind with Android, you can always change it. You can always add a different launcher. Like right now, currently I'm running the Nova launcher on my Galaxy S21 Ultra, which is how I have this design. And if you want to know how I got these icons and this whole setup, there'll be a link in the description below telling you how I did it. There's a video that I made showing you guys. I can do the same thing on my OnePlus. There's just always the options in Android, but between the two, I'll just put it this way. Cleaner, simpler, more dialed back, Oxygen OS. Robust, feature packed, this, that, and next, One UI. So it's really gonna come down to preference between OS and what you're into. So that's how I'll leave it between the two. The next section is the most important section, and that's user experience. Honestly, between the two, you can't go wrong. I will say that. Let me put that out there. Whether you choose to go OnePlus 9 Pro or S21 Ultra, you can't go wrong or lose user experience wise. The user experience on both of these devices is Android is getting very competitive. I will say that at this current point in time. As I say, I've always loved the robustness, feature pack, hardware build out of a Samsung device, but I also like the dialed back, more simplistic, growing. Let's put that there because the OnePlus brand is growing. I don't think it's fully evolved to its truest potential, but you know, I like the direction that OnePlus is going, especially with this OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 9 Pro. Both of these smartphones have wowed me in the time that I've had them. So I've always been a fan of the Samsung experience and their OS and their feature pack build, but I'm also learning that I'm also a fan of the Oxygen OS and the emerging OnePlus brand. I still think that they have to refine some things. I still think that even where they are right now, a lot of you, just like me, will have a good experience on an Oxygen OS built OnePlus 9 Pro. When it comes to the pricing between these two, I still feel like I want Samsung to get a little bit more competitive and bring that pricing down on their devices, because I don't know what their cost and all that is going in, because they do throw so much into their smartphones, but sometimes they may throw a little too much or more than what we ask, and a lot of Samsung fans love it. I just think the price point, if they can bring it down a bit and make it more competitive, it would be ideal. Now the OnePlus 9 Pro is coming in at a more competitive pricing, but I can't say that everything given 100% warrants the price hike that they're going into, but I like the direction that they're going into in development. So we'll see where they get to, and hopefully they keep their pricing competitive. So my perspective is like this: Samsung, they've earned their stripes in this smartphone world. They've been doing it for an extremely long time. They're well developed, they're well rounded. They still have, you know, a ways to go, and they always can improve. We always need to push these phone manufacturers to improve, but their place in the smartphone arena is well deserved. Now OnePlus is an emerging, growing brand, and they're still earning their spot, but they definitely have a foot in the race. I can say that after using this OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 9 Pro devices, they're here. They still got some developing and growing and evolvement to do, but they're in the arena. Which leads me to say this: between these two devices, as an Android user, I think you're gonna enjoy the smartphone that you pick between the two. The S21 Ultra, phenomenal experience. The camera evolvement this year has me excited. These feature pack built Samsung devices always have a place in the market, and I appreciate them. At the end of the day, S21 Ultra, great smartphone. I like it. I am a Galaxy Note user at heart. With that being said, I appreciated the S21 Ultra, and it helped me cope with not having a Galaxy Note this year. Although this is coming in cheaper than the S21 Ultra, and the experience you get is solid out of the OnePlus 9 Pro. But as I said, this is an emerging brand. They're not as much of a staple in the smartphone world as Samsungs and Apples and things like that, but they're building their name. So it's a device that I feel like more people should know about, more people should experience. Between the two, I can't tell you to go left, right, up, down. You get what I'm saying. It's your choice. The choice is on you. My name is CJ. This is CJ Unplugged. Hit the like button if you like the video. Smash that subscribe button and come along on this technical journey, baby. I'll update you guys on the OnePlus 9 Pro. I got to do another long term on the S21 Ultra. I got tech videos on tech videos dropping day after day after day after day after day.
That's on me, ayy. Any day could have been dead. High school price on my head. Paranoid lying in my bed. Pray to God they don't turn my shirt cherry. I was lost, didn't know me. Introduced myself to codeine. 6 months was a dope fiend. Philly didn't even know things. There was a low me. Swear to God it would've owed me. Everything you ever told me. Everything you ever showed me. I forgot it. Caused me drama.